Hey everyone, Matron here, bringing you another StarCraft 2 commentary, this time Game 3 of the Best of 3 series between WhiteRa spawning as the red Protoss, and his Protoss opponent will be NightEnd spawning as the blue player. We are on Shakuras Plateau here, and again this is a Best of 3 as part of the Black Dragon League series. So two Europeans going at it, the Ukrainian WhiteRa versus the Romanian NightEnd. NightEnd was able to even up the series in that second game with a bit of clever micro. He lost his natural and his probe advantage as WhiteRa did push out, so he sort of went all in. He got a lot of gateway units, and he used some nice micro to take down the gateway units and the Colossi of WhiteRa, even up the series at one game apiece. So now we move on to the third game here. And we are on these cross positions on Metalopolis in this PvP, so we'll see what both players choose to do here. It looks like right now just chrono boosting out probes in the early going. And WhiteRa actually putting down a fast assimilator here, so going gas first. So deviating a little bit from what we normally see in PvP, and most Protoss openings do not begin with gas. So it looks like NightEnd getting out his gateway just a little bit before WhiteRa. WhiteRa does have out the 14 probes before he's even going to be putting down a gateway, I think. Yeah, there goes the gateway at 14, so a little bit later than his opponent, about 25 game seconds, but he will have the gas advantage in the early going, so he's going to be able to get out some early sentries if he wants, or he could go for some fast tech as well. NightEnd coming out the normal gas timing for a Protoss. He's going to have this saturated, and he's going to have the 100 gas to get out both a Stalker as well as the Warp Gate tech when his Cybernetics core finally does come up. And it looks like WhiteRa may be placing a pylon over here, perhaps to hide some tech. We will see. Both players just sending out their probes at the moment, and it looks like NightEnd will be the first person to find their opponent, and he will just see this gateway. He's going to see it's a little bit late as he already has a Cybernetics score about 20 game seconds in. So WhiteRa has lost about 20 game seconds in the race to that Warp Gate tech. But again, he's going to have quite a bit of gas. At this point, he's got almost 150 gas saved up compared to the 100 that NightEnd does have. So again, NightEnd's going to be able to get out that Stalker quickly as well as the Warp Gate tech. And WhiteRa is actually going to be able to go for the Warp Gate tech and even a Robo perhaps, and a Stalker as well if he gets enough minerals banked up here. It looks like he is not saving up too many minerals at this point. He is getting out the initial Zealot. So you would think he might cut that Zealot if you want to go for a bit of a techie opening. He's going to have about 150 minerals as the Cybernetics core does come up, and he's going to start the Stalker as well as the Warp Gate tech, adding a second gas early here as well, and he still has a lot of banked gas. So finally chasing out this probe from NightEnd. Back in NightEnd's base, it looks like he's adding at least 2 more gates here, so maybe going for a 3-gate play. Actually adding a 4th gate there, as he does see the probe has left for WhiteRa. So it will be a 4-gate and lots of pressure coming from NightEnd. He does have the Stalker and the Zealot out near midfield. He's going to want to clear out all the units of WhiteRa so that the Ukrainian has no clue that this is coming. He's also going to want to try to save this probe and keep it in the front lines here so that he can place down a forward pylon. And WhiteRa now adding 2 more gates to this pretty late. He's gotten out a few more Stalkers out of the initial gateway here, and he has been banking a lot of gas, up to 300 gas now. So finally doing a little bit of dueling here. A pylon has gone down, a forward pylon from NightEnd. So once these gateways do come up, he is about done his Warp Gate tech here, and the gateways will be finishing shortly. So all 4 gateways on the way, and he's going to get a forward pylon. He's going to be able to warp up top on the ramp here if he's able to get up the ramp. WhiteRa at this point just working on this pylon, hoping to get it down before the units start coming in. He does have up his own pylon at the top, but he is very, very late on these 2nd and 3rd, and now he's added a 4th gateway, which is also quite late. So he is going to have a force field here. He is going to be able to take down that initial Stalker, as well as the Zealot, it looks like. But once this force field wears off, there's going to be 5 Stalkers knocking down this door. And he's not going to be able to stop this this frontal force. NightEnd warping in some more Zealots on the high ground there. Another 3 Zealots coming. And now we finally have the Warp Gate finishing for WhiteRa. And he's pulling off a few probes here, it looks like, to try to take on these initial Zealots and Stalkers. A few more units warping in here for WhiteRa. He's hoping that he can handle this. He does have the 4 gates now, but he's a little bit late on the unit production. So NightEnd's going to have a little bit higher in the way of army at this point, and he's got these all-important zealots. Those are going to make WhiteRa continue to micro these stalkers non-stop. He needs to get those zealots back on the stalkers, and again, those the zealots basically force APM out of your opponent in any sort of stalker battle. So now it looks like WhiteRa does have the advantage as he has his own zealots out here forcing the stalkers of NightEnd to micro themselves, but they are focus firing down these stalkers very quickly. Shooting, scooting away from these zealots, and now finally doing a lot of damage here. He does have a zealot up chasing that initial stalker up there, and now making its way into the supply line, and now some more zealots coming for NightEnd, and WhiteRa having to give the GG, giving the good job, as NightEnd will move on in this tournament and takes a decisive Game 3 victory. I'm not really sure what WhiteRa was going for there. He has so much banked gas here, 400 gas. I feel like he added maybe the fourth gate there just to defend against the 4-gate. Once he did have a feeling it was coming, but I imagine that he wanted to get a bit more of a tech-like opening, perhaps go for a fast Colossi, maybe even get out a Stargate, but we will never know, as NightEnd does a very nice job with a textbook 4-gate here, gets that pylon so that he can warp onto the high ground, and the one force field was able to stop him for just a moment, but he had the unit advantage, and even though WhiteRa did eventually get up on those 4 gates, NightEnd always had 3 or 4 more units than him, and eventually with decent micro from both players was able to take this Game 3 and this series. As always, if you are looking for more StarCraft 2 action, make sure you check out my channel Matron StarCraft at youtube.com. I'm also doing coaching currently, as I do a lot of reading about StarCraft, watching streams and VODs all day long, and having a great time just coaching people up, private one-on-one, working on specific matchups, watching your replays and analyzing what you could be doing better, and hopefully want to share that with a few more people. So if you're interested in that, email me at matronsc@yahoo.com. The details are on the left-hand side of my YouTube page. Thanks for watching this one. Take care.